If you have unpredictable, inconsistent lead gen, this video will solve that problem for you. All right, I consistently book anywhere from 70 to 150 sales calls every single month for this company. I've booked thousands of calls in the past, and we do this consistently, predictably every single month. We know the exact cause and effect. All right, so know, hey, if we want 100 calls booked, if we want 200 calls booked, we just need to do this many inputs. I'm going to show you how to actually do this in this video. So let's just dive right in. So let me go ahead and uncover this first one. So first things first, there's only 3 ways to predictably turn strangers into paying clients. All right, so if you're watching, this very common scenario I hear a lot is, just relying on word of mouth or referrals or just inconsistent, like hoping the algorithm just makes your content go viral and hopefully you have a good month. It's kind of like luck. It's kind of like hoping you sign clients somehow. But here's the 3 ways you can actually do this predictably. All right, DMs, content, and paid ads. These are the big 3. All right, each of these you can turn into a predictable system to sign clients every single week. All right, because think about it. You probably know competitors in your exact niche who are doing $1 million a month or more. Or if you don't, I can tell you for a fact there are. All right, unless you're in some weird niche that's actually not validated. But if you're in some sort of health, relationships, wealth niche, anything that you help people with those things, even in the life coaching or mindset space, there's people who do these numbers right here. All right, so if these companies exist, if these competitors of yours exist, what is the difference between them and you? Why are they so profitable? Why are they making so much money with DMs? Why are they making so much money with content? Why are they making so much money with paid ads and you're not? All right, there's a clear reason here. I'm going to go over that right now at number 2. All right, this is the reason why your lead gen is unpredictable, why it's not working for you, why you're only booking 1, 2, 5 sales calls a month, 10 sales calls a month, something that's extremely low and extremely unpredictable. At the core, it's all what we call stimulus and response. All right, stimulus and response. This is the actual thing taking place of why you're not booking calls. So let me explain. So what is this? So there's basically this equation that exists, and this applies for really everything in the universe. There's stimulus, there's a human, and then there's a response that the human takes. So example of this, let's say you're driving your car, all right, and you're approaching a traffic light and the light turns, red. All right, if you are a law-abiding citizen, your response to that stimulus of the red light, all right, so the stimulus is the red light, you're the human, obviously. Your response is you're probably gonna hit the brakes. All right, if you are a law-abiding citizen. All right, some people might just hit the gas and they go even harder because they want to, they're running late for something. But that's the stimulus and response. All right, so based on the stimuli they're presented with, you take different responses. All right, this is how everything works. This is how this also applies in your business and your marketing, obviously. So let me uncover this stuff. So this is the reason why your competitors make millions with DMs, content, or paid ads, and you're not. They have different stimuli that get different results. All right, it's not the algorithm. All right, it's not that your market is broke or whatever excuse you come up with. It is this. Business is purely cause and effect. It's stimulus and response. There's no magical thing take place. There's no nothing's happened. They didn't just get lucky, or they might have, but they cracked this code right here. All right, realize there is a combination that exists in the universe, a stimuli that you can put in front of your niche, in front of your target market, and it will result in them booking sales calls with you, with them taking out their credit card and paying you money. This exists for every sequence in the client acquisition journey. All right, this is for how do you make content go viral? How do you actually convert those views into leads? How do you actually convert those leads into book calls? How do you convert those book calls into people that show up to calls? Into actually people paying you money and signing up and becoming a paying client? All right, every single sequence, this is happening. You can apply this anywhere. If your sales calls, let's say you suck at sales right now, your conversion rates are 10%. Their close rate's 10% right now. All right, you can change the stimuli, the script that you're using, the pitch that you're doing. You can change that and you're going to get a different response. All right, you naturally know this. You know, hey, if I test something different, I'm probably going to get a different response. But you haven't conceptually really realized this. This exists for every part of your funnel. This is the reason why it's not working. All right, so this obviously, it sucks. It's painful right now. But this should give you some hope of, that means if I actually just find the stimuli that works, if I figure that, if I crack that code, I can hit 10K a month, 30K a month, 100K a month, whatever are your goals. You can make it happen if you crack this code right here. And so I'm going to show you this next one. How do you actually crack the code? How do you actually do this? And not just do endless guessing, for years and years and years. How do you do this in the fastest, most effective manner possible? Here's how. All right, so this is a big one right here. How to create a predictable lead gen system. All right, predictable lead gen system. And what I mean by predictable by that is you can reverse engineer your goals. All right, so if you want to make 30K a month, Like we have calculators for our private clients of like, hey, put your revenue goal. Let's say you want a 30K a month, 50K a month, whatever it is. And it will reverse engineer it to the exact inputs they need to do. Hey, just do this action exactly. Send this many DMs, spend this much on ads, all right, etc. Like it'll tell you exactly what to do to hit your revenue goals. All right, there's a way to do this. There's a way to make it predictable. Here's how. First big thing is install metric tracking. All right, so odds are if you're watching this, you probably don't have much data, if any data at all, or you probably don't track metrics. All right, so install metric tracking. So I'll give an example of this. Like this is probably the easiest example with direct messages. Or if you're sending direct messages to your followers or even strangers, all right, do you know your appointment booking rate? All right, that is the percentage of people that convert from, DM sent to call booked. All right, what is that percentage? Whoops. Like you need to know that percentage. Like this is key, like this is crucial. Because if we know, let's say that we know this is 5%, for example. If we know this is 5%, that means what, 1 out of 20 people book call that you send a DM to. All right, so that gives us a metric right there. All right, and so we know, hey, if we want to book 20 calls a month, we have to send, 20 times 20, 400 messages. If you send 400 DMs based on these metrics, you'll book 20 calls a month. Or you can start to see right there how it becomes predictable, or how it becomes consistent, just by knowing your metrics. All right, you can also be consistently bad. So if your conversion rate's like 0.001%, it'll consistently be this bad. Like you'll know, hey, it will take like 10,000 messages to book a call. Like metrics don't lie, numbers don't lie. But that's the first thing you need to do is install metric tracking. Like you need to know these numbers right here because then it becomes predictable. Same thing with running ads, for example. You want to know your cost per call. So for example, let's say it's costing you $100 to book a call. All right, and let's say it takes you 5 calls to sign a client. Okay, then when you have to spend $500, we sign a client and you make the profit. You make whatever's left over, the 3K left over, the 5K left over, whatever it is. All right, so that's the first thing. You need to install metric tracking. That is crucial. That's what allows you to actually see what's going on as well. All right, so you can see what are the actual bottlenecks or the constraints in your business. So let's say, for example, everything looks good. All of a sudden, your show rate is 30%. That's a clear constraint in your system, in your client acquisition system. And the only way you can know that concretely and see truly what's going on is through metrics. Or you can have a feeling and you can feel like, I wonder, I don't know, this kind of feels kind of weird. I feel like it should be better. Or it's kind of a red flag whenever you say the words I feel. Because a lot of times your feelings are wrong and it's just emotions. All right, so you need to have metrics so you know, actually, you can see what's going on without emotions taking over. Because also, I'll tell you what else happens in business. All right, so it's very common, let's say in the sales process. All right, let's say you typically have a 40% close rate. So every 10 calls you get, you close 40% of these people. All right, what can happen a lot is, let's say you get no. All right, so this is 8 or 9 no's right here in a row. All right, so this could take place and you could still have a 40% close rate. Do you know why? Because data does not distribute itself evenly. All right, so you get this string of 9 no's and then you could go on to get this amazing string of yeses. I know I'm spelling this wrong. No. You could get this amazing streak. It's like, that's the thing, data does not present itself equally. You need a sample size. All right, and the only way you can know this stuff is through metric tracking. Again, so it clears up so much. So please start tracking metrics ASAP, today. All right, last thing here. How do you actually get to this point as soon as possible? How do you find the winning stimulus? All right, once you have metric tracking, you'll see, okay, my current conversion rate is this. It sucks right now. It's 0.5%, 0.1%. How do I get it better? You want to follow the scientific method. All right, so let's use this example of using DMs again, because it's the easy example. So let's say your DM to a booked call, let's say this is 0.02%. All right, so extremely low appointment booking rate right here. All right, so what we can do is follow the scientific method. So let's say, for example, you want to break this down further. All right, so let's say, for example, in this scenario, the DMs that we're sending out, we're getting like a 20% positive reply rate. So that means, hey, the initial DM, we're getting 1 in 5 people to reply positively, which is actually pretty solid. All right. But what happens next, after positive replies, there's a massive drop off. No one books a call. So that would tell us, hey, the real constraint in the system is likely what happens after the pause reply, like what we say after that, our scripting there, our offer there to get on a call. That's probably the constraint because we're getting pause replies, but there's a massive drop off right there, which results in 0.02% of people booking a call, which is extremely low. All right, so you just want to start to dissect it and see what's happening. And so what I would do from there is you want to change one core variable, one variable at a time. And so I would change, for example, hey, what's the message I send after people pause a reply? All right, because that's obviously not converting. All right, it's not working. All right, and so I would change that one variable and then run that test, get a good sample size of that test exactly. And then we might see, oh, well, this actually jumped way up here to 0.5%, which is a massive jump. And then I might see, well, there's still like a bunch of people I'm sending a calendar to, but they're just not booking. All right, let me change one more variable. Let me implement new follow-up messages. All right, this would be a new variable. And let me see, oh, this actually did work. This got it to 0.9%. All right, we're making progress here. And we're just using the scientific method. You're changing one variable at a time. It's very crucial. You only change one variable at a time. Unless it's in the dumpster, unless you're at like a 0% employment rate, where it's like extremely low, which it was in this scenario. All right, only change one variable at a time. Because what can happen if you change multiple variables, you don't know what variable contributed to the increase or decrease in results. All right, so let's say, for example, I change my branding. I change my branding like crazy. And then I also change the Apple message I'm sending out. And then all of a sudden, this goes to like 0.2%. All right, I technically don't know what contributed to this massive drop. It could have been my branding. All right, it could have also been the Apple message. My branding could have actually helped. My branding, if I kept everything the same, could have actually helped us go to like 1.2%. I don't know because I changed multiple things at a time. So change one thing at a time and just run these tests over and over and over again. All right, this might sound like brunt work, like it's going to take time. And that's because it will. But that is the secret. That is the secret to all these mass businesses that you've seen. All right, all your competitors who have these are doing $1 million a month or more, are doing 100K a month or more, are doing 10K a month or more. They have the right stimuli, and the only reason they actually got here is through this, following the scientific method, whether they know it or not. Some people follow this, and they don't even know they're doing it. All right, but this is inherently what is taking place. All right, following the scientific method, testing, and testing scientifically, not testing randomly, not testing based on gut or feelings, but testing scientifically. All right, so this is the video. This is how you have a consistent lead gen system. This is the process you follow. This is why what you've tried in the past has not worked. All right, if you are someone who's looking to skip more of this experimentation phase and just plug in a system that we already have tested, we already know works, go ahead and click the link below in the description. Has an offer to work with me one-on-one to help install our consistent client acquisition systems into your business and work with me one-on-one to actually scale. All right, so if you are interested in that, click that link below for a full explainer video on how our offer works, breaks down everything, including the price. So click that link if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.